Hello everyone, Brett here, Lionheart84, and I'm just in this video mentioning a couple of the citrus that are in my summer house for the winter, and there's potentially two casters. The other one looks stone dead. This one is a kumquat, and I don't think this has succumbed to the cold. I think this is simply a problem of being bone dry. Now it looks to me, I'm going to give it a good watering in a minute, there's a chance that this will recover, and I'll probably know by the end of the day. In fact, I might just do the video in two parts and see if it picks up later after it's been watered. It is one of the problems of having them all crammed together in the shed. I can't tell, I can't see some of the plants, or can't get to them without getting everything out. So if there's one like this which is towards the back, which has probably got very dry, it's not easy to tell. And the other problem is this one is still in that rock hard, that dreadful rock hard cement type soil that it came in. I think this is probably bought from someone like B&Q's over here, and the growers they get it from, which I presume in Italy, use this very dense soil. So you pick it up and it feels like it's really wet because it's so heavy, but I think it's actually the weight of the soil. I think the plant's absolutely bone dry and probably has been for several weeks. So we'll give it a good watering. I've got a nice jug of water here, and not only am I going to give it, I'm going to put a lot of water in it, I'm going to leave it to stand in the water for a couple of hours. Now you can see the problem with this dense soil. Look at that water. It's not going through the soil. Well, it is, but I mean it's barely going through the soil at all. Now if I use one of my new open mixes I'm using, which is similar to a 511 for repotting my citrus, that water would run through the plant in about 20 seconds. I suppose the downside of that is it means that the water runs straight out the bottom and doesn't get sucked up. But you can always re-water a plant 2 or 3 times if you want to moisten the compost, if you've got an open free draining one. But clearly it's just starting to come through the bottom now. I'm going to give it more water, because if it's as dry as I think it is, it's going to take a long time to rehydrate it. So I'm actually going to leave this out for a few hours and come back and film the second part of the video later and see if the plant has picked up or if it's terminal. And here's another one that's suffering. This is my red lime. This has actually got quite a lot of green fly on it. Lost a lot of leaves. It's absolutely, again, bone dry, although it hasn't had the problem with the leaf droop that the kumquat has got. So I will take the opportunity, as the weather's nice today, to spray these plants down. I'm just going to use warm soapy water to try and blast off most of the green fly and get the stickiness off the leaves. So I'm going to give this one a good watering as well. Now this has got a very different compost in it. Look, literally as I poured it in the top, it's come out the bottom, so that's a vastly superior compost. Now what I will do is again leave that in here for a couple of hours to soak, and we'll come back to it a little bit later in the day. Now the final casualty of its greenhouse, of its summer house stay, appears to be this one, which you can see looks really bad. Now this is my Citrus hystrix, or kaffir lime, which is also now called macroot in some countries because they feel it's less offensive than the original name, if the original name was to be pronounced incorrectly. Now this does look pretty bad. The kaffir lime is a lot more cold sensitive than other citrus, so some of this could be cold damage, but I'm also tempted to think that it looks extremely dry as well. Now I'm not too concerned because the stems themselves look very, very green, so it could well be that it is simply more drought rather than the specific cold in there. But as the stems look so green, I'm fairly sure it's going to come back mad in the spring. Again, it feels heavy, incredibly heavy, the pot, but I have a feeling that it's bone dry. So we'll put some water on this one again, see how quickly it comes out the bottom. Now, you can probably see, unlike the red lime, this seems to have the same problem that the kumquat has got. The water's just sitting on the top of the soil, and at the moment not penetrating at all. Now it will soak through in time, but again it's got this heavy dense soil. Now I will be repotting the majority of my citrus probably in April. I'm going to try and get them all into the same compost, which I hope is going to prove successful for them, and we'll see what happens. But I mean, look at that water sitting on the top there. That has not penetrated into the soil whatsoever. Well, it has a little bit. There's just some start to come through the bottom now, but that could easily be seeping down the side of the root ball rather than actually going down into the roots themselves. But look, it's just sitting there on the surface. That's compared to the red lime where it absolutely flew through the soil. So I'm going to let this have a good soak as well. Probably pick off some of the dried out leaves, and again we'll have a look at this one at the end of the video, although these leaves aren't going to pick up because they're far too far gone. But I think as the stems are green, we're not going to have a major problem with it. I think it'll probably recover when the warmer weather comes and it goes outside. So we'll finish this video later in the day. So we've come back to the kumquat now. I suppose it's about 6 hours after I filmed the other video. There hasn't really been much improvement in the leaves in regards of rehydration, although perhaps some of these younger leaves may have picked up a bit. One of the problems may be that the roots became so dry that they've been sort of compromised and aren't really efficiently sucking up the water. I'm not going to leave it standing in water. I'm going to take it out of the water and put it back in the Summerhouse and hope that with the water in the soil and in a sort of a relatively cool, frost-free position, that the plant will probably pick up a little bit. I mean, I think some of the leaves will drop because it's been allowed to get too dry, but it does that to protect itself. But the stems themselves look fairly green, so I think there's a fairly good chance that the plant will eventually recover. It is only a kumquat, which I've just got for the interest of it, because I actually can't stand the fruits, or at least I can't stand any kumquats that I've tried so far. I believe the Miwa is meant to be quite a nice sweet one, but that's proved to be impossible to get in the UK. But in time, one day I might hopefully be able to get a Miwa to try to see if I like the flavour at all. But that's the kumquat. This is the final part of the video showed earlier. I have watered the kaffir lime and the red lime. The red lime actually doesn't look too bad, and I've sprayed it for the green fly as well that it had on it. It's still actually holding some small fruits on it. As you can see, they're very tiny because of the size of the plant, but that one's certainly not been too bothered by getting dry, and that's picked up quite nicely. But it'll be interesting to see if this picks up in the next week or so, and I might obviously pick up on it in a video in the future. So thanks for watching the video, much appreciate it. Please remember to give me a thumbs up. You're welcome to share it if you think anybody might be interested. Please subscribe to my channel, and obviously if you do have any interest in updates and seeing how this recovers, if at all, then please remember to click on the bell and you'll know when new videos come out. I'll catch up with you all soon. Brett out for now.